The Gentlementor.
It's back.
Da-da-da.
Boom, boom, boom.
What's going on?
Hi guys, you missed me?
Yes.
It's hospital. I had to take that call. So
Everything
Sorry.
cool?
Is it an okay call?
yeah, it was okay. Call. Sorry to interrupt. I'm back. Go ahead. What I missed?
We were talking about a little bit about like a little kind of an example of how you can filter it through. But like for example, I was talking about like, taking a drink of water. Like you wouldn't filter through like, should I take this next drink of water through this? But something you could filter through is a goal of drinking 128 ounces of water a day to bounce it off your backboard. Is this going to help me bring people together in creative ways? Well, it's going to keep my mind sharp. It's going to keep me healthier. It's going to make me be able to do it longer. So there's a lot of those types of things that if you have any goals or desires or whatever you want to do, should I go to the gym? Should I read a book? Should I X, Y, Z? Should I take this class? Should I go meet with this person? All of those types of things you can run through your why. Do you exist? What do I stand for? And it'll simplify so much.
Nice.
Nice.
So you got Doug all squared away now. He's got
I'm highly successful. Can't you tell?
he's got purpose and mission and
Oh, yeah.
What does he exist and what does he stand for? He's got a backboard and a North Star.
so what is it you stand for, Doug? What was the consensus on that? I didn't.
It was you
Reaching-
belong and
Reaching people through people with the love of Jesus
Shut
Christ.
up.
yeah. I love you, you love me. We're a big old family.
That
People-
rhymes. I can
people
get
reaching
behind
people.
that. I'll be able to
No,
remember that.
It was you belong or never alone.
Never. That's right. That's about when I
You
left.
belong.
You belong, never alone. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think if you combine both those things, you have a solid North Star and backboard to bounce anything off of. Ooh, 3 points.
Gotta have the arch. It's all about the arch.
So yeah, that's a solid exercise that anybody can go through to determine why they exist, what they stand for, what their North Star is, what their backboard
I don't know
is.
if it did any good, but as exercises go, that was easy.
That's a 2. That's a 2 on the scale of 10. We don't go higher than a 7, but we
Awesome.
might go to a 5.
As I lift those weights in the morning, they're a lot
Ooh.
harder than that exercise we just
Ooh.
did.
Good.
I prefer these exercises are much easier, and I can do
Much-
them while holding beer.
That's it.
It's like bowling. It's the only sport you can play when drinking a beer and eating nachos.
Zach, that's a call back on the bowling analogy. That's confirmation.
I was, yeah, you were
You were in the spirit.
I
when
was
we started.
gone, and
We were having trouble with sports analogies. Then he
Yes.
brought up a bowling analogy, and it was like, oh, I get this.
Oh, this makes sense. It's like
Ah.
the bumpers for your
Yeah.
gutters. So you're gonna be
oh, instead of the backboard.
Yeah,
Right.
Mark
At the
brought in
bumper.
another bowling analogy, so maybe that's it. Maybe I'll
Ah,
understand
that's-
better. You guys can
that's the
stay with
Lord.
the bowling.
Yeah, that is
Stay with
the Lord
indoor
speaking, right?
sports Midwesterners play in the winter.
Yeah, pizza,
Yeah.
nachos, beer. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Let's go. Why are we still talking?
That's my.
I don't know. Andy B's is down the road. Let's go. I don't know.
I'm on my way.
I feel like I don't want to be pinned into something like that, though. Thank you. Thanks for the laugh.
You're
I
so non-committal.
took a moment, but you got it. That's good. I've been working on my puns to see how long I could keep one of those puns like that going, So, but then, then sooner or later my brain goes down the gutter.
But
Please clip that. Let's send
Can
that.
we clip?
We need that as a key.
I didn't
a
say
key
you could
hallmark.
clip stuff that I said.
We have to clip that piece. Yes, flag this. We'll put it at 1 hour and 3 minutes. Put a
That's
flag in. We'll
That's
put that
funny.
to our virtual assistant here to make that happen.
Oh man. Okay. All right. I'm back in.
Sweet. So that's that.
well, I'm all fixed.
That is,
How did
that
we,
is, how do what?
how did we get into that? I feel like how did we get into that?
Because I came back and asked you about your North Star. I was like, show us the
Oh.
North Star. How do we get to the North Star? Because we were going to come back around eventually to, your commitments, your routines, your habits, and things like that really are, they're kind of moot to the fact if you don't have a North Star, if you don't have the bumpers in place, there's no
100%.
controlling the ball.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you rather have the bumpers up and get strikes 9 out of 10 times, or would you rather have the bumpers down and just always get gutters? I mean, that's the question. I mean, I would rather have those.
That was a question.
I would
Yeah.
rather have those bumpers up all day long.
Really?
I want to be hitting the strikes, baby.
So this would be like the guardrails, right? The guardrails on a road, right?
Yeah.
You got it. Of course, you go too far over the other side, you get oncoming traffic. But
What other metaphors we got? We've got the horse with the blinders.
the blinders. Yes.
You can't see anything else. You're focused. It helps
You're
you
focused.
It simplifies your focus.
Equestrian analogy. Ah!
How many other analogies can we get? So, Mark, I was sharing my why.
Okay.
So my why is to glorify God using the gifts he's given me, which are positivity, relationship building, and accountability, to help others achieve their mission, because everyone deserves to live a life they love. So that's my why. My what do I stand for is family, a balance of living my mission and being present with my family, generosity, blessing others with what God has entrusted to me, the golden rule, treating others the way I want to be treated, excellence in the ordinary, faithful and focused in the little things. And then I stole this one from Dave Ramsey, momentum theorem, the focused intensity over time multiplied by God. And so that's my why do I exist? That's my why do I, what do I stand for? And so when I combine those together, if anything in my life doesn't bounce off of that, it gives me the boundaries and the permission to say, you don't belong.
It's good. Momentum. Say that again. Momentum what? You said
Momentum theorem.
theorem. Okay.
Isn't that a word? What the heck is let me look this up. Theorem.
Isn't that like all I can think of is a theory? Is it a theory crossed with a serum?
There
Okay,
you
so
go. That's what it is. You got it.
all right, a theorem is a scientific theory, but not just any scientific theory. Hold on, hold your breath.
Oh, okay.
While
That's partially right.
While any real scientific theory has to be supported by at least some research, a theorem is a core knowledge that is supported by massive evidence and supports our basic understanding of how the universe works.
It's a guess. Educated guess.
Supported by massive evidence. Theorem. Welcome.
Define massive.
Yeah,
How
massive.
massive?
Massive.
Right. That's exactly right. That's a great question. Massive. How would
Because
one define massive?
I think we can all agree that this is a fact. The sun is hot
Ooh,
and it's massive.
You've got massive evidence.
It's massive evidence,
that is a theorem.
but it's a theorem, so it's not a fact. I guess it's not a fact because no one has actually ever physically touched the
Yeah.
sun.
Have you
And
touched it?
Damn, that's hot.
Did you touch it?
I didn't touch it. My
Did
dad
you
said,
die?
all right, and so I backed off. I was going to touch it.
Holy cow.
Keep your hands off the sun.
That's funny. That's funny. I don't know. Because I mean, the state, I remember back in the science classes that I got to privilege to be a part of.
Yeah.
They talked about, theory, because you have a theory about how something, and then then you do research and
Yes.
experiments to make that a fact, a scientific
Right.
fact. So,
Yes.
but I already thought momentum was a fact.
Momentum theorem.
But I thought
From the
momentum
mind
was.
of Dave Ramsey.
I thought momentum was already a fact because it's not already,
Oh, I see.
No,
an
this
object
is Dave
stays in
Ramsey's
action.
theorem
Yeah.
of momentum.
Okay.
He,
All right. Well, I love Dave Ramsey. I need more information on that, but that's for another podcast. I'll listen to his podcast. Maybe.
what should I call it? But I love that. Here's the definite. Here's the
I like it. No, if nothing else, it makes a good conversation piece.
focused.
People go, oh, what's a theorem? What's a theorem?
Right. Well, that's true. But
Like
you
we
got
just
the
did.
focused intensity over time.
Ah,
Multiplied
yes.
by God.
right.
So,
Over
How do you-
MC squared
and then you take,
to the pi.
nailed it.
Ooh, pi.
I can take some pie right
My
now.
favorite.
I'm down for some pie.
We were talking about, I was talking to somebody the other day about the formula for trust. I was reading something the other day, and the people had these ideas on trust. There was some leadership stuff
Adam
we were
Grant?
doing at work.
Adam Grant guy?
What? No, this was something else. It wasn't Adam Grant. But they were talking some stuff we're doing at work for leadership, and they were talking about trust. And I was just like, it was very diluted with all this stuff about trust. I'm like, oh, this is great. And what does Adam Grant have a theory on trust? I don't know if or maybe his is the one I've got. Somebody's theory is time plus consistency equals trust. That's somebody's formula for trust. It may be Andy Stanley, it may be Adam Grant. I don't know. Maybe one of them stole it from the other. But that is because you rebuild. Why are you giving me that look, Doug? What's up with that? You don't like it?
No.
Well, give it to me.
Don't care for it. I just don't care for it.
Yeah, well,
Say it again. Say it again.
It's fine.
time plus consistency equals trust.
Time plus consistency. So define consistency.
You're delivering the same thing consistently. You're consistently delivering the same thing. You
like value, or
you have not just that. You have the same answer. You're I can trust you to be consistent.
You're reliable.
You're on time. You're on time. When I say, Zach, we're going to meet at 6:30, you're there at 6:30. You're consistent. And it happens every time. And then over time, that equates to trust. And someone's like, well, do you think he's going to show up? Of course he is.
100%.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
So anyway.
I don't know. Time plus consistency?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Why wouldn't you multiply it?
Then I would think you would have to do consistency multiplied by time.
Ooh.
It just doesn't make any sense at all.
Come on, give us some pushback. Come on, give us some pushback. Let's figure this out.
Talking and I'll say it.
Let the man talk.
Go, I'm listening. Go.
If you're not consistent over time, then you're not consistent. That's the equation. It doesn't even make any sense.
Well, because
if you're not consistent over time, you're not consistent.
Well, that's right. Because if you have a zero.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm consistent once.
This is why you need to multiply it.
I'm consistent one time.
Okay. All right. I'm going back on my notes because now you guys have got me I'm like, Doug, you're right. This doesn't make sense. So I've got to go back on my notes.
I want to whiteboard this out because if you go consistency.
Over here's a guy.
Yes. I'm a mom. I'm my own best friend.
I don't have it in here. Where's it at?
So consistency equals 10, time equals 10, you've got 100. But if consistency equals 0 and time equals 10, you've got 0. But if if it's plus, then consistency is 0 plus 10. You still have 10. So that still means trust if you were there, if the time was there. So I think it's got to be multiplied.
No, I found the note that I originally wrote. I was listening to it. It says trust. This is actually what I wrote.
Yes.
Trust equals consistency plus time.
Trust equals consistency plus time.
Yeah, I gave it to you backwards, but mathematically backwards, it still works.
Yes, but what if your consistency is 0 and your time is 15 days?
Say that again, if your consistency is what?
If your consistency equals 0.
Okay.
And your time equals 15 days.
Okay.
You just have 15 days. You have no consistency, but you still equal 15 trust.
Right. So the value of trust is only equivalent to the time.
Right. But what if you weren't consistent at all?
But then the trust builds very slowly. The trust only comes with the time. If you are delivering something consistency over this period of time, you
exponentially
increase that. So if your consistency becomes 10,
yes,
and your days are 15, you're now at 25 instead of just 15.
Yep, that makes sense.
Okay.
So yeah, I still think there's
getting the same.
Well, I still think there's still an underlying piece of what does consistency actually mean? Because if you have 0 consistency, you can't just get trust with time.
Well,
what if I guess time and a big gun?
Jiminy Christmas. We're making threats now.
Well, okay.
I'm working in something I know about. So.
Okay, Doug, because we're going to find consistency. If during this period of time you show up with the big gun, is it the same big gun? Does it get bigger?
That would be inconsistent.
Right.
Okay.
I would love to. Yeah, I mean, I'm down to park here for a little bit. Like,
we're
like skirt, park, take the keys out. What is
Emergency
this?
brake.
That's what I wanted to do on the whole
Turn
selfish
the
and
tires
selfless thing.
toward the
And yeah,
curb.
Well,
yeah,
it's my
yeah.
turn.
Let's do just your
'Cause
turn.
I'm so
Yeah.
curious. What?
But I don't think.
Consistency plus time equals trust.
Okay, so we're viewing consistency as a value of time. Is that
Correct.
that's what we're doing, right? Because then we're going, it's redundant because now we're adding time to it.
No, I'm looking at it as consistency being value,
Okay.
some sort of value. And if
Value as in I'm consistent to bring you value, or value as in a number value. We need consistency, that number value. A mathematical value.
for example, I show up on time.
Okay.
That's consistent.
Well, the first day it's not.
Well, yeah. So what if I don't ever show up on time, but there's still 3 weeks? Do I still get trust if I never show up on time, but it took 3 weeks?
Well, I think then I have, okay, I see what you're saying now.
Okay.
Then I have to value consistency. So
Okay.
now I can value your consistent tardiness. In my opinion, I'm going to place a value on that. That's a negative number
In the consistency line.
in the consistency column.
So then you're going to say negative 15 to the 15 of time, and there's going to be 0 trust.
My trust is 0.
So through, let's say 3 weeks of time, and we met on a weekly basis, and I was not there for 3 weeks. So let's say it's a negative 3 to 3, and it's 0 trust. So that's kind of what you're getting at.
Right.
So
And see, I think consistency is probably going to be the value that the individual using that's trying to trust is going to have to place on that, because that's going to be the variable, I think, in my opinion. Like it's what do you call it? Art is what do you call it? Art is I'm looking for a word. I can't think of it. Subjective.
Yeah.
The consistency is going to be subjective to someone
time is not.
giving the trust. Time is not subjective. Time is constant.
Unless
That's not true.
Unless it took you 6 months to build trust.
All right,
Or-
Einstein.
That is a scientific falsehood right there.
Time is not constant.
Time is not constant.
All right. Should we park again?
Now we're parking on time. Okay. Time when my feet are planted on the planet. Is it consistent, Doug? Is it a constant? Sorry, not consistent. Is time.
I have questions about it.
Okay.
What
All
are
right.
your questions?
Well, I'm not
Because-
actually asking the questions. I just don't know how literal I can assume that time is always consistent.
What do you mean?
I can't be in all places at all times. I can't be in more than one place at one time.
Now we're
what's
talking
my
space.
basis? Well, I'm just saying, if we're going to say that time and space are consistent, we got to go back and go, hang on
Yeah,
a
we
minute,
never
they're
said
not.
space.
Well, I didn't say space was consistent, but I didn't say time was consistent.
So, yeah, dive a little deeper into that, Doug. Time is not consistent.
True.
How?
It does. Time is
Because
based on how fast you travel.
time only exists as a precursor for our existence here. Okay, time is a concept.
Is it
Time
made
is
up?
not real.
So it's made up.
Yeah.
So it's
It's-
like the calendar. It's like someone just said, "Hey,
Yes.
I'm going to call December, and it's going to have 31 days."
Well,
Exactly.
now come on. These were all celestial activities that are happening around the earth or to the earth that we have placed these parameters of time on. So that's how we measure it.
Right, but it only applies to our reality. It doesn't apply
Sure it
outside of
does.
our reality.
Right. But I am only in my reality.
Right.
Hmm.
So time for me is fairly constant. I understand that if I am in orbit around the earth going 3 times the speed of the rotation of the earth, the time will travel a lot faster for me. I will age faster or slower. Maybe I have that backwards. One of the two. I know that time is different based on the speed that we travel, but I don't travel off world
True.
that much anymore. So
Glad to hear it.
my perspective is time for me is pretty consistent.
Okay, so
It-
especially when you're looking at trust, time is consistent.
Acts like this is the last time I'm coming on this Jack Baggins podcast.
Oh, no,
I'm an hour and a half, almost 2 hours in. I still don't really know what you guys are talking about. So I'm just, I'm going to start slinging some stuff in here just to throw you off. I'm going to make
you should, because now you know how I feel when you and Charlie get there and talking about music and these people doing music. I'm like,
Well,
I have no idea what they're talking about.
Eventually I'll get my traction. I'll figure out what we're talking about here, and then I'll have something meaningful. No, I won't. No, I don't get any of this.
I like the part that you're playing. I like the part that you're playing, Doug. You're just like, you're waiting for we ride by and you're trying to throw a stick in our spokes going, okay, guys, is this really, you need to stop. Exactly. I like this part. Okay.
No, this is great. I think so. Yeah, no, I'm trying to wonder why we don't.
Here's the only problem. This is the only problem.
It's
wrong choice.
Oh,
wrong choice for this conversation. That's all right. My bad. I didn't realize we were going this deep. Stay on.
Well, my question is, why aren't we doing this every single week? Is my, that's ultimately my question.
We kind of do.
Yeah. And we just, you've got the link now. So, it's the same link every week.
What would tell you the same thing we tell everybody else? You've got the number. We do this on Tuesday nights.
Yep.
So dial it up.
Gosh.
Tuesday nights.
I just want to put a recurring, calendar invite in my calendar and just keep the link ready. And anytime I have a free Tuesday night, pop in here for 15 seconds, say time isn't real. And
we got a message from Zach. Time is not real.
We've got someone in the waiting room. I
you know what
that is.
But Zach, do you know how much trust that I would build, that you would build in me, knowing that you're just going to pop in and say things like that? I'd be like, he's consistent every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday for 15 seconds. And he always says the same thing.
Man, you could trust that guy. You could trust that guy to say the same thing
every week and say the same thing.
It's the
we will trust you.
We will trust you. We will trust you. I think we have done a good job. Zach O'Clock. I think we've done a great job at not only clarifying this equation, but proving it as well.
Ooh.
I feel like we're all up for a Nobel Prize. I feel like it's already in the mail.
Here.
Cheers. Oh, I love it.
But his thing looks like something Doug would have. His thing at the very top of the banner is community is always first. Community first. Oh, community always comes first. That's what it says. Yeah.
That's 100%. I think the culture, that's one of the biggest things is why I haven't, or why I couldn't get into a routine of like going to the gym, like lifting weights. There was no community. And so whenever you join like a boxing gym or a jiu-jitsu gym or something like that, you gain this community. You become a part of this family.
See, that's what it is. Yeah.
And so when I show up tomorrow morning, like I'm going at 6 a.m. and I'm going to roll in there and you're like, what's up, Zach? And there's like 10 or 12 other people. They're like, oh, sweet, Zach's here. Like, whoop, whoop. Like, and like, if I leave, cause I'm going to be gone, I'm going on a trip Thursday through Saturday. I'm going to miss Friday morning. People are going to be like, all right, Zach, you all right? Like they're going to be checking on me. Like, there's accountability, but there's also community there. And you do feel like you belong.
Yeah.
So I think that's super key, as opposed to, okay, I need to go to the gym. I need to make sure that I have all my stuff ready. I need to go, do this by myself. Or if you go with someone, like, it's just never worked out for me to buddy up or to go by myself to the gym. I keep consistent.
So how do we translate that? We're gonna completely change gears, Doug. Are you ready? You got this now. This is for you.
Hang on.
Hang on. Here we go. We're going. Buckle up, Buttercup. Here we go. So what you were describing about your jiu-jitsu class, your community that you're creating at jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
Okay.
You're coming in. Hold on. I just wanted to grab your attention so that you're in on this.
He's here. He's engaged.
He's here. Okay. So I'm talking about, and you're right. You're absolutely right. When I'm just like, I'm looking at going to the gym as a necessity, horror necessity of like, I gotta go to the gym. I gotta do this. But I wish instead I could play hockey. Wish I could ski. wish I could box and beat up people in a friendly, Christ-like manner. So how come we can't get that translated into the faith community? The same sort of thing. What do we need? What are we missing? Where is it going? Because we got so many people. Zach, I'm one, you're one. This other guy over here is one too. We don't normally go to the church on a regular. You haven't been since COVID, right? Since the whole COVID.
Correct. That's correct. Have not been in person. Yeah.
You're a man of faith. We're men of faith. We pray to Jesus. We love our God. We love our other men. We love our families.
Yeah.
But yet we still can't find that thing where it's like, I go on a semi-regular basis. Yeah. And I love the church. I work with pastors on every single day of my life, and I love them, and I want to support them. I want to see their churches grow. I want to see them be healthy. Doug and I have talked about this extent. Why can't we get this community in the faith like that, where it's like, what is it? What are we missing? Who's out there that can call in right now and tell us what we're missing? Anybody? And we're not live? Okay.
Ring, ring. Ooh, we have a caller.
We got a caller.
Hello? Man, that's a good question. You know, what if we're not looking at it the right way?
We're not. Obviously we're not.
Yeah, but what if we are called to go into the communities that we find that we love and to be the church in those communities, as opposed to so why can't I be the church at jiu-jitsu? Because I already love it. You know, I don't believe God's saying, or Jesus is saying, Zach, you have to go to the physical church building, and you need to be around the other people. Like, yeah, life groups are great. Am I a part of one? Not yet. Is it a goal? Absolutely. But what is more powerful? Being around other Christ-like followers?
You're part of my life group.
Well, that's true, I guess. Well, we kind of have a little life group, just Zach and Mark life group.
Chris comes sometimes, and Bay shows up sometimes, and
true.
Courtney.
That's true.
Okay, it's fine. Yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah,
but I think we might need to look at it a little different. I think we look at the communities in our life, and I think that's where we create that. And maybe it's not a look at the church, and maybe the church isn't broken. Maybe the church is us, and we need to go out and be the church to our communities that we love doing anyway. And Doug has been saying this, I'm sure, for years on years on years. And the affirmation.
I am just here to say amen to you, brother. Amen to you, brother.
That's just my thought, because I've been dealing with that for my life.
Yeah.
I went to youth group, I went to church, I went to this, was in and out, went to college, didn't really get, but was I a part of a fraternity? Absolutely. And did I try to present myself in a way that was godly and that I could continue to build relationships? Absolutely. Was I a part of a church during college? Absolutely not. And so my question is now looking back on it, I've seen a ton of opportunities where I've been a part of communities that I could have been the church, or maybe was the church, or maybe it wasn't intentional. This goes back to being intentional. And so, okay, cool. I'm glad that we're all aligned here. This is great. I love it.
All right. So no, I appreciate, because here again, let's go back to the whole perspective thing. I appreciate your perspective because it's helping me clear up a little bit more in my thinking.
Yeah. I think there's a balance too. You don't just want to go out into the community and be the church, but you also need to surround yourself with other Christ followers, as far as iron sharpens iron. So, how do you know how to be the church in the way that you need to be the church if you're not continuously finding ways to grow and surrounding yourself with a community of Christ-like followers? What if the community you're going into is completely empty of Christ followers? And so you have to get that full light. Well, you have to figure out a way to fill up your own cup so you can overflow into your community. And so I think that's where I see these pastors. I think that's where I see these other communities that you can build out, your life groups, all of those types of things, as far as where do I go to fill up my cup to ensure that I know that I'm continuously overflowing into the communities that I'm sent out into. So I think there's a good balance there. Yeah. Between both sides. And you're right. I think it's true. We have to have that. If you're going into a community that's devoid of that, you have to have your cup filled. And I think that's what Doug wants to do here is he wants to create that community where we can let the sparks fly, because that's what sharpens iron. I'm not afraid of sparks. I told you that last week, Doug.
I'm not afraid of the sparks because that's what sharpens iron. That's what makes it better. You don't sharpen iron without sparks.
Yep.
So, and that's, yeah, you need that. And I think and that goes back to what he was wanting to create his family. He wants to create that. You belong.
I changed my mind. I don't want to know that.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
I
fine.
up on it.
There goes your North Star, just burned up.
That's right.
There goes your backboard, just crashed, just glass.
It's glass.
I'm so bad at sports,
Glass.
it wouldn't even matter.
Doug's he's just gonna go all net, no backboard, nothing but net. Well, everyone, it's been a great evening.
It's been a great. Cheers to that. Peace. Oh man. No, it is interesting because throughout this entire conversation, you can go back to the passion that you have behind your why. Period.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. And so that's what I just find so much power in answering why do I exist and what do I stand for.
Well, here's the thing that I trouble with. Here's the thing that I trouble with when it's like, you know, we bring up these simple terminologies like, you know, oh, be the church, or going back to some of the stuff that you're talking about. It's like find your North Star. You know, we're so good at throwing out these ideas, these concepts, but we're and I say we as in human beings, we're not, or even organizations, we're not good at going, okay, here's the practical steps on how you make that happen. And you walked us through some of that, you know, earlier in that, or in the last show, wherever we are now. You walked us through on some of that, what that means and how you can practically create that. But we have these grandiose ideas about, you know, oh, you've got to write your obituary and read it every morning. Love that idea. It's great. I tried to write my obituary. It was lame. It was boring. I was like, dude, I'm glad this guy's dead. Yeah, because but we don't get those practical steps so far. And I love these guys like, you know, Adam Grant and Cal Newport that have these fantastic ideas and these concepts. I'm like, okay, I love that concept and I can see where you're going with that. But maybe it's my finite mind. I can take it so far, but what else do I need to do? What else? Even to the point where it's like where you're saying, okay, you take the DNA of the Christ, and I'll say ecclesia, and you inject that into your community. Yeah. And then it becomes what God really wanted it to be. So that's all I got. So I'm done.
Assemblies of citizens in a city-state team. If you don't know ecclesia, that's what it means. It's a Greek word. Gathering of those summoned. For those listeners out there.
Thanks for clearing that up. I appreciate it. We just need Zach on here every time that we say some kind of random word like that. He can go, oh, by the way, folks, if you're listening.
I love being the gap filler there as far as
that's the producer.
The Gentlementor.